How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is my first video where I'm giving a game analysis. Going to be talking about the Roswell versus Hobbs high-scoring game from last night in football. It was a really good game, really fun to be at, really fun to work with. I'll also go over some of the other sports that have gone in with Roswell Goddard throughout the week. I would like to maybe get like a weekly video, talk about each football game that's played at home, and then also talk about who played on the road. And just give a summary of, sports in Roswell, specifically Roswell and Goddard. So let's get straight into this video. So Hobbs started on offense first and wasted no time getting on the board. They scored within the first 3.5 minutes off a rushing touchdown. The extra point was good. Started off 7-0. There were some miscues with a handoff from quarterback Andrew Fuentes with one of his teammates on offense. So they turned it over at around the 50-yard line. So Hobbs had a chance to score again and go 14-0 very early in the game, like within the first 6 minutes. But the defense got it done for Roswell. And then they scored back-to-back touchdowns to end the quarter, going up 14-7. Second quarter was a little bit of a different story. That's when Hobbs really got it going, scored 3 touchdowns out of the gate. They did have a extra point that was failed. They tried to, kick it and had some miscues, threw it, turned it over, interception. Roswell ended up scoring at the end of the quarter, or the end of the half, if you want to say. So with the extra point missed and, the miscues and stuff, trying to go for that 2-point conversion, not working out, Hobbs led 27-21 at halftime. And you already saw this was going to be a really high-scoring game, but if you thought the first half was high-scoring, second half was an even, crazier story. Both teams scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, but again, there was an extra point missed. It was they tried going for the 2-point conversion, ended up not getting it. And then Fuentes, for Roswell, he ran it in for the 2-point conversion. So instead of being down by 6 again at the end of the quarter, Roswell was only down by 4. It's 40-36, very high-scoring game, but the final score was, even crazier. So in the fourth quarter, Roswell was able to score 4 touchdowns, 28 points total. Benjamin Vera, the number 2 kicker in the state, made all his kicks, 8 for 8 on extra points of the night, picking up where he left off the last 2 years, where he's gone 121 for 126. Fuentes connected with his, receivers very well, Danny Castro being one of them. Running backs played very well. Overall, Fuentes played a great game. I was looking through the stats. I'm not sure if they're official just yet, but I believe he had 6 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown, which was to win the game, 64-60 with 30 seconds remaining. And then the special teams got it done for Roswell. Hobbs, they fumbled the ball. Roswell picked it up, tried to run it in for the touchdown to go up by double figures. Got taken down, and then they just kneeled the clock out because there was no reason to try to go and score and mess anything up. And then Hobbs gets a big win. Most teams will obviously be smart in those situations. I've seen times in college where teams are always not smart in those situations, but thankfully for Roswell fans, they were, and they got the job done. I think the factor going into the game was trying to stop Hobbs quarterback Medrano, junior Medrano. He's really good of a quarterback. Coach Lynn for Roswell said that he could probably, start on most teams at running back if he really wanted to. And he showed that, last night. He, on the passing end, he did very well. Had 4 passing touchdowns. Did have an interception in the first quarter, but, picked it up from there, just like Fuentes did. He had a rushing touchdown later in the game. Was able to connect with his receivers very well. Did a lot of great things overall. He's definitely going to be, a player to watch out for as the season goes on. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Hobbs has a really good year. I'd be really surprised if they don't. And Roswell looks like they're going to be a really high-scoring team, but they need to get done on the defensive end. Looking to score 64-60. Both teams need to get it done on the defensive end. And talked to both coaches after the game, and that's what they alluded to. So the offense could still improve and be more consistent at times, but the defense definitely is, need some big improvement throughout the year. Overall, Fuentes, he went 25 for 29 passing, so very efficient. Again, one of those incomplete passes, unfortunately, was a interception for him, but he'll pick it up. He had a very good game overall for his first game starting on varsity as a junior. So he definitely has a bright couple years ahead of him with his team. He passed for 390 yards, rushed for about 80. So did a lot of really good things. He had that 12-yard rushing touchdown like we had talked about earlier to win the game. He's really quick as well. He just had a lot of really nice big runs. He reminds me of a little bit of a Diego Pavia type player. He's a little bit of a smaller quarterback, but he's quick and he gets the job done. Not sure what his future's looking like, if he wants to play college, what he wants to do. But whatever he works forward to, I think he can definitely get it done. Talked to him a few times along with Vera, the kicker. Both cool guys. Really looking forward to covering Roswell throughout the year, as well as Goddard. I'll make a video on them next week. They face Carlsbad. They lost to Lovington yesterday, 20-14, and they lost him in the quarterfinals of the playoffs last year, 28-14. So we're able to get the revenge. It was kind of a similar score. Lovington scored 1 less. And they're a 4A school now. Goddard's still 5A, obviously. But Goddard will try to get the revenge against Carlsbad, and I think that'll be more of a low-scoring game. Carlsbad did beat Artesia last year for the first time, or not last year, last night for the first time in 5 years. They won 20-13. They were at 20-0 at half, and then got shut out in the second half. Artesia almost made a comeback, just didn't get it done. But again, that was a low-scoring game. Goddard was a part of a lower-scoring game, so wouldn't be surprised at all if we see about a one-possession game, the second week, and it's pretty close. We'll see how it goes. I like to call them blue bloods, because Goddard, Carlsbad, they're both, colors are blue. Obviously, blue bloods is college, but why not throw it in there for high school too, right? As far as other Roswell Goddard sports, as you guys know in football, the crosstown rivalry game is on to the last game of the season, which is October 30th this year. Friday night lights and all that. But Roswell and Goddard, they played each other both in boys and girls soccer. And Roswell was able to get the job done in both. Girls team won 8-0 on Tuesday, and then the boys won 12-2 on Thursday. So really good start for Roswell sports. Roswell also beat Nemi 5-0. So they beat 2 Roswell schools, and they played against Artesia this on Tuesday. So all the local schools they play early on. They'll be playing here in Artesia. So we'll see how it all goes throughout the season. But that's how the teams have been shaping up so far. There are some teams currently playing. The Roswell girls soccer team, they're playing in a tournament in Roswell. So I'll get some updates on that, throughout the week, starting next week, how that all goes. Goddard boys soccer is playing in Santa Teresa at home right now, so they're looking for a big bounce back win there. Roswell volleyball, they did lose their first game against Oregon Mountain on Tuesday, so they're 0-1. They got swept, lost all 3 sets. They're looking for a big bounce back today in their game at 2. Roswell girls actually played against Artesia earlier today in soccer. So lots of good sports going on today. Today I've just been working on the game story for the football game from last night, which a lot of people have been tuning in on the Roswell Tribune, which I really do appreciate. Make sure to spread the word more about that for those that haven't heard about it, and spread the news about this YouTube channel. Want to keep growing this, keep talking about key plays, key games, and all that going throughout the weeks. Other than that, that's all I have for the video today. Really appreciate you guys for watching, and I'm out.